Welcome to Tech Talk, which is where Exchange for Media travels down the intersection of advertising and technology. Today, we are fortunate enough to be joined by Amit Verma, who is the visionary founder of DigitUp, which is a cutting-edge technology company that specializes in digital commerce. Amit also has the misfortune for being the person I frequently bother for all my stories. So this should be a very interesting conversation. So thank you, Amit, for speaking with us.
Yeah.
And first of all, because it is January, and I'm curious, like in digital commerce and web development for 2025, what do you see the major trends being?
Clearly AI is a major trend. I mean, everybody knows that. And over the last 4 or 5 years, every year the technology is changing. If we talk about enterprise level technologies, they are constantly embedding AI related functions and technologies and capabilities within them. If we talk about the resources, just today over my LinkedIn, I saw a new startup on no code solution for developers, right? Then they're talking 2025, there is a good possibility, or maybe Google, somebody is going to come up with a device which will be nothing, just a laptop, which will be your resource. It's a virtual resource.
For all possible functions.
So basically, you just buy that laptop and it is going to be your virtual resource.
Right.
Because it's just built with everything.
And AI would be embedded into it.
Of course.
Right.
So, which essentially is going to be a great superpower for companies who can afford it.
Right.
They are definitely going to look out to reduce their cost. We also are using AI in some of the products that we are planning to launch this year. We have 2 products. One is social media management tool, and another is our long-term goal on completely automated website maintenance. And we're going to launch a preliminary version of that this year. It's called DigitUp.
Wow.
So these are going to be the major changes as far as digital commerce is concerned. And the other aspect from the resource side, job side, which is always the most important aspect. Skill is an ongoing battle and difficulties for the companies. I don't know how this is going to pan out, but when AI as a course, was coming up in companies like Great Learning, and now almost all of them are giving AI courses. 4-year BTech courses are coming, masters, PhD courses are coming.
Right.
But quality is still very low.
Right.
But yes, the quality of the talent is going to be a major issue, but that will not stop the
progress.
The progress or the continuous disruption. Now we only live in disruption. We are no longer
waiting for it.
We live and breathe within disruption, right? That has become the way to now run the business.
And it's interesting, because you were talking about companies who can sort of afford to do it, like to pay for all these things. But I think DigitUp also sort of prides itself on also being there for startups, because of course you have enterprise clients and like you have like major MNCs who you're working with. But because of private conversations we had, I've noticed you have this soft spot for startups. And so can you tell us a little bit about why it's so important to you for DigitUp to support startups?
So it's a long-term vision. As you know, I'm a bootstrapped startup myself, and everything that I have done over the last 6 years, it's a very gradual growth. However, very focused on technology direction. serving enterprise level clients. But that essentially means we are very much always ready to help startup with the right advice, direction, guidance, and of course projects as well. I believe when a startup or any organization, especially startup, when they get the right guidance, and especially in digital area, and there are a lot of companies now which are only digital, right?
Yeah.
So the results are obvious. Nothing is stopping a good guidance from quickly coming into the limelight. To be honest,
right?
So you have to sum it up. You have lack of talent, firstly. Then you have lack of resources, right? Then you are living in disruption, right? If you sum it up all together, that means if you are creating a product, you find it very hard to build it.
Right.
Not easy. So in a simple website, of course, I don't want to name the clients, but there are so many clients which are still on platforms which are, on which you used to make websites 10 or 15 years ago, right? So what is holding them? The only thing that is holding them is advice, nothing more.
Right.
And then the next thing that is holding them, they must be hearing advice, but then are they hearing from good sources?
Right.
Yeah. Is there good credibility behind? So all of that counts, and once the advice is there, then everything is out there available. Right. These are not the days when, 4 years ago, Shopify was not so common.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
Now it's a de facto platform to build your e-commerce.
Right.
Nobody thinks about it. But pretty sure that within a year or so, they start to question Shopify as well. It will happen, and I'm already doing it.
Yeah.
So, so there are ones who are constantly changing the game, constantly questioning themselves, and trying to ask the right questions. And for me, it is a good business opportunity, obviously.
Right.
Guidance doesn't take long time. And and of course, if your focus is long term, that essentially means that you are not running around desperate like a headless chicken. That's not what you're doing. So you have got time.
And so you're investing in your clients so that they invest back in you.
Yeah.
And that's lovely.
And word spreads very fast.
Right.
People are looking for guidance.
Right.
Anytime somebody comes to know, okay, go to this person, he's going to guide you, he's not going to charge you.
Yeah.
Spreads very fast.
Right.
I just have to be making sure that I do that and I help them. And so I keep doing that. Yeah.
And of course, if you help them build a brilliant product, of course, it'll come back.
I don't have to say much.
It's a self-fulfilling
so this year I got a review and I posted on LinkedIn that it was the best review for 2025 with a client who said that, it was a great, honest guidance. They gave us the review on our Google page as well, saying, and the client built the website themselves.
Right.
So we are the ones who build website,
but
this time we didn't build it and we got a great review. So it was 1 hour of guidance, and it will continue.
Right.
And anytime they need our help, we're going to do that. Yeah.
And of course, as DigitUp scales up, because you already have these big, MNC enterprise clients.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, how will you sort of reconcile the two? Because I imagine there are two very different paths for like a startup and an MNC. So how do you sort of navigate that?
Yeah, so very good question. It's a difficult one. See, for enterprise clients, like the ones we have, Unilever and maybe LTI and Kotak Life, when you're signing the contract, there are a lot of requirements, right? We are supposed to keep data for next 7 years, right? We are supposed to be GDPR compliant. We are make sure that our area is where we do the business is not something anybody can come and see what is going on. There has to be good confidentiality, right?
And it's a beautiful office, by the way, just so you guys know.
So and all our data where you keep it should have backup, right? So we use good cloud services. You sum it up, the all of that cost adds up quite significantly.
Right.
Then in your workforce, you have billable and non-billable people. HR is not billable, marketing is not billable. So the project-wise people, developers, content managers, those are billable employees. So now let's see the situation of a startup. The way to navigate is that we are not desperate for getting into a contract. So the startup comes, we're going to talk to them. We see if guidance is sufficient. That saves our time.
Right.
Because if I'm going to get into a contract while the person is not ready for it, which I should be able to tell, then I would only waste my time.
Right.
So we have to swift to that and guide and see who is just there, that we can create a good project scope, and then we are good to go. So and the rest we just guidance. Yeah.
And I'm curious because you, like you said, you speak to so many startups and you already have all these enterprise clients. I'm curious, is there any one segment or like a few segments which you see are now investing heavily in web development and digital commerce, which perhaps previously were not?
Well, if you ask that, I think, and I honestly speaking, I do not have facts on that. But I can say with a lot of surety that B2B, of course, the D2Cs and B2Cs are there, still investing, they're upgrading their technology. But a lot of B2B who never thought that they would like to have a digital marketing and all of that. So they are asking in all directions, can I do social media marketing? Can I create a LinkedIn? We need to do thought leadership. We want to create a website, asking questions around it. Obviously, in the age of AI, if there are businesses, there's one of the organization now and then we meet, and in B2B, we would tell them that probably your website is not there, and it might be damaging your reputation even because of the way it's created and portrayed. But they would say, yeah, we're getting the client. So
so there's also that.
Yeah. So I think they're forgetting that we're living in disruption. Right.
Yeah.
Anytime, just minimalist came 2-3 years ago. And now is a 3,000 crore brand with Unilever. 2.5 years. So it's a big disruption to anybody who was doing business in skincare and cosmetics. And there you go. So companies, B2B companies, they are going to, I think, there are going to be a lot of clients around that area. Yeah.
So, and as you said, we are living in the age of disruption. So I'm guessing there's no typical work day at DigitUp. I imagine every day is new and it brings new challenges, new clients, and so on and so forth. And so I'm just curious, because of course you have this great team, and how do they spend their day? Because in this age of disruption.
So there is let me explain this. Firstly, when I started in my own career, I'm sure everybody else and most of the people, they fill timesheets, right? Somehow my career spanned as a chemical engineer where I didn't have to. I didn't have to. And I didn't have to, and I did not see the point. Maybe very start of the career, my first company, which is just next door actually. I used to fill timesheet, and in IT it's very normal, right? So the first 6 years I've been running this organization without any timesheet. None of the projects are timesheet, and but we do have what we have is people finishing the task on time. They are leaving on time at 6:30. Leaving 9:30. We start 6:30. We leave. We often discuss this, and
there are no 90-hour work weeks, by the way.
Yeah. So sometimes I ask I ask all my employees that, please tell me how should we manage coming on time. Sometimes some people do get delayed, right? And so I want to take a democratic decision.
That's lovely.
So they said that what we should deduct leaves, we should maybe pay a fine or something like that. Kind of.
Oh, they came up with
Yes.
That's
yes.
insane.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So yeah. So I had to speak to them. I said, it's incredible that nobody said that. No, that everybody said fine and so on. I said, first of all, and said incentives as well. And I asked that why should there be any incentive for me to work 8 hours? I'm getting paid.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. That's number one. Right? Number two is that you're saying fines. Some of them said fines.
Yeah.
Okay. You are an adult. You know what time you have to come. Just think of your teammate.
Yeah.
He's coming on time.
Why should he have to do?
And as far as fine is concerned, the right fine will be that you come late and everybody else pays. That would be the right fine. Right?
That's very psychologically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that? So, and they said, yeah, it does make sense. But then, do you want me to do that? Right? So, we didn't do anything. It was just a discussion. But typical workday is people have their projects. They come over. They start on them. I looked into my meetings. I look into. I have to continuously change my role. These days it's sales and marketing and finance going on, right? So, and then probably once I set it up, I will jump into operation and jump into branding or jump into, so I keep changing my heads.
I'm curious, are you missing operations? Because like you said, right now it's mostly about sales and marketing.
Yeah, I tend to. So the one of my ways of working is that I look for the exit. My eyes are on the exit sign from that particular role all the time, right? What should I do that I exit the role?
Okay.
That is how I frame my...
And you're figuring out the route so that it can...
So that I take the exit and the guys take the lead.
Right.
That's always in my mind. So if I'm right now in marketing, then I'm looking for exits, which essentially means training the guys,
finding the people
and making sure that everything is set up, and then I will make an exit. So I did that with basically all the departments, and that's exit keeps on going on. Yeah.
And so, I mean, since you're heading all of this, I'm going to use this as a pun to talk about headless web development because it's something not many people are talking about, at least in the Indian market, and we have had this conversation several times. So, like, if you could elaborate on what it means to you and how you see it sort of improving web development.
So headless technology, let's talk about the definition first. In principle, as the evolution of web technology, a simple HTML website used to be the sufficient to have a web presence, right? Then it got a little bit more sophisticated with CSS and so on. JavaScript came, then animation, etc. It got a little bit more interactive. Then people start selling as well. And at some point, people started uploading videos. Then integration started with ERP, and so on and so forth. So a lot of things have started. And then analytics, machine learning, all of that. So this evolution was firstly was what we say monolith currently with platforms like Shopify, WordPress, Webflow. These are monolith. That means if you log into them, they have everything in there. You don't have really control over what content delivery I will choose. How I am posting my content.
They have a set of capabilities.
They have the set,
and that's
and
all
then you have to use it, right? However, again, the point of disruption comes. There are startups which are doing very niche offering, right?
Which
so there is which is not about this, but it helps you. For instance, Algolia, which is in search, website search. So it's an AI based search. And you can deploy that on your website, right? Then you have great content delivery network services like Amazon and so on. If you go to Amazon, they provide all those rich technologies, in very small pieces. Then content management system is the biggest one of them. There are many leading content management system like Contentful, Sanity, Sitecore, Bloomreach, Adobe, of course, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, and so on, right? And of course, then Shopify and so on. So why do we need them? I mean, imagine if I have 5,000 products and I have to manage the content for them. If I have several teams working simultaneously doing marketing, right? Doing campaigns, right? Somebody is doing a campaign for this division for the same brand. Another is doing campaign for that division for the same brand on the same website. At some point in time, it becomes a lot about content management system and creating campaigns and so on. So marketing needs a lot of flexibility in general. Right? So that requirement of flexibility has led to the development of headless architecture, main driver for that. Right? And as a result, the it's called headless because the backend, which is not at all important for marketing. They don't want to know it. They don't want to listen about it. Becomes the backend. And the headless is the content management system, is where most of the marketing aspect is going on. That means how the page is looking, creating the page, the tagging, the recommendation system, etc., or any marketing integration. All of that, related with front end. So when let's talk about how headless structure in a little bit detail. So for instance, Shopify is also talking about headless. So if you search Shopify headless, they are also marketing it these days that their platform can be enabled for headless.
I see.
Okay. 3-4 years ago, you couldn't make, or maybe 5-6 years ago, you couldn't make a headless on Shopify. But they themselves have made it themselves unable for the companies, because a lot of companies moved away from Shopify towards a headless platform because they couldn't do it on Shopify.
Because they had all those requirements and
so,
like that template.
Yes, they said, okay, we can't do this on Shopify, so we will move away. Similarly, a lot moved from WordPress or Webflow or Wix, etc.
Right.
Okay, what Shopify did to enable headless is basically creating APIs. So that means a page and various functionalities, they released APIs which will help to connect with their backend functionality and connect whatever the customer is looking for. So you want to connect this. Of course, they have an app system as well. But we are talking with a taxi company in UK, and they have a very sophisticated system for how they manage their fleet. And that needs integration. So there is no app for that. There is never going to be an app for that. It is
their very specific.
Right. So we want to integrate it. This is going to be definitely a headless one. Right? And if the platform we choose, if the e-commerce engine we choose, if they do not have the APIs to integrate properly, then it's not going to work. So digital commerce has evolved. There are a lot of niche requirements, and as a result, headless is available. But now it has become more common, at least in Western countries, with bigger brands. Almost all bigger brands, you will see they're using a content management system.
Right. And I'm just curious because I watch a lot of YouTube, and like a lot of the people I watch, like they're like, we are sponsored by Squarespace. Is Squarespace an instance of headless in the sense because they take out the backend?
They are, I think, also monolith. But yes.
But it's that's the concept.
That's the concept. Yeah.
Okay.
That you can. They all are enabling that. They do not want that people come and they leave, of course, because they are not able to integrate something. So integration has become a focus for actually, if you look at open any SaaS, Jira, ClickUp, right? These are project management tools or any social media related. You open them on the homepage, you will always see that they're talking about integrations. That how many integrations available to
so
them.
They're still going back to the system.
So the everybody has to be open for that use our platform for the basic needs. If you need something extra, you can always connect. It's not a problem.
Okay. So it needs to be sort of open in that sense.
Yeah.
And I'm curious because you're a chemical engineer by training, and I'm curious because, like you said, we live in the age of disruption. AI is sort of in everything, and AI is one element, and then of course there is marketing, and of course sometimes it would create a great product. but there can also perhaps be an explosion. So, I mean, do you see any challenges in AI, the use of AI in marketing?
See, challenges will always be there. It's only about the biggest challenge always is adoption. Okay, and which is today itself.
Right.
I have had meetings, and I would be honest, vague meetings, where the only question is how do we implement AI?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Right?
Yeah. I had a couple of meetings with some good companies, where the only question with the leadership is, and some of them are chemical companies, as they understand what I have done is really cutting edge. They understand.
Quite remarkable, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So they want to implement AI, but it's because the leadership doesn't understand and grasps and that what actually it is and how it is really working. There is a tendency to look for a off-the-shelf product.
Oh.
Okay. That means we take something, we attach it, and it works.
Right.
I'm not saying that it will not happen, but at least if you want to be a market leader, that approach is not going to make you a market leader.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, if it is available off the shelf, that means it is available off the shelf for your competitor as well.
Right. And maybe they know they have someone who
or maybe they have already,
AI.
or maybe they have already picked up. It's only a matter of finding where that off-the-shelf AI product is available and how much it is for. Right. So if you're gonna wait for that and then implement and call it an AI implementation, well, that's not gonna help.
Right.
So what will help is for you to get AI ready, and that is what my message has been on those meetings.
Right.
That make your organization AI enabled. These days, I give you a more simple analogy. These days, social media is very important. A lot of startups are doing that, and everybody is posting content. LinkedIn has become very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So you see that posting and so on happening, and everybody is using, easily. They're not designing those posts on Adobe anymore, Adobe Photoshop.
Right.
They're using Canva or any such off-the-shelf product, right? And who is doing that? Is it a graphic designer? No. It's everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So there is an off-the-shelf product. You use it. You're creating the content. But tell me, what's the quality? Everybody is doing that.
Right.
So if you want to stand out, you always have to think forward. And with regard to AI, the solution is not off the shelf. The solution is to understand, and you don't have to understand to
all of it.
All of it. Just simply have to understand what will enable it.
Right.
And
how to implement it correctly.
No, enable it. Implementation and enablement are two different things.
Okay.
Enablement means that what enables AI? AI. That means data.
Right.
Right. So are you data driven? So for instance, I want to in business, what you do, decisions, right?
Right.
Can I say that all the decisions are 100% data driven? Of course not. So which decision which is not AI data driven today cost you the most amount of money?
Right. Right.
Which is that? So just figure that out, right? And probably because it is not data driven, that means you're taking by guesswork or whatever that might be.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's what the human thing.
So you want to get in more data driven.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, don't think about AI, but start collecting data then.
Yeah. Right.
Once you collect the data, you will become more data driven. Then you will start to understand, I have a lot of data. Now it goes beyond my capacity to process it. I need to do some machine learning.
Right.
Right. And then the next step is AI. So there is a lot of there is a Harvard study on AI implementation, where they found that companies have invested. Leaders, 70% of the leaders believe that they have to invest in AI. They're doing it.
Right.
But of several projects which were moonshot, right? Big AI projects they ran, invested a lot of money.
Yeah.
Majority of them failed.
Yeah.
Right. The ones succeeded were simple projects solving simple problems.
Right. And then they left the capability is open to people to use as they want, but it was just
so
a product.
open
Yeah,
AI,
exactly.
simple one.
It's
Everybody
just a product or a
using
service, and that's it.
Yeah. But if you want to do that everything happens with AI,
Yeah.
you're gonna fail.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. I mean, data suggests that.
Yeah.
So I think the bus has not left, the train has not left. Anybody who tried things of enabling themselves will succeed very easily.
Right.
Those who are continuously looking for that I have this problem and is there a tool available? Well, you will always look for a tool then.
Yeah. And so one thing, like, of course, because DigitUp does, digital commerce development and web development, and you and I have had this a conversation frequently about search, and like the metrics that go into like being on top, on top of mind and stuff. And so I recently came across a study that said that a lot of marketing agencies are saying that their retention rates or their discoverability is falling by like 30 to 50% because it's below the fold, the AI overview.
So this part I'm not able to understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I have done this again and again, and also, demonstrated this to many people.
Yeah.
You do a search 2 BHK, right? The search has become the algorithm from Google has a component of AI now, which was never the case before, but now it is.
Yeah.
So let's ask a simple question: what the AI is doing from Google point of view? The answer lies in what AI was doing before AI. It only wanted to know what I'm trying to search.
Right.
Okay. So am I trying to buy?
Intentionality.
Yeah. AI obviously is going to do better job at finding the intent.
Right.
So it is doing so.
Right.
Now, in Google search, if the intent is to buy, AI overview never comes. Never.
Really?
It never comes.
Yeah.
If you want to buy, only the products that you want to buy are going to come.
Because if you only mention the product, it's up. Okay,
if your intent is to, if you're saying skincare cream,
right,
AI overview is not going to give you anything.
Okay.
Unless it is a question that how hyaluronic acid is going to help me, then you're going to get an AI overview.
Right.
But if they ask is, night cream for this and that.
By this company, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. You're going to not get an AI overview will not come because intent is very clear.
Right.
So let's suppose if there is a 5% error in intent, assuming.
Yeah.
But that error is for everyone.
Right.
Not that only for me. How everybody can complain that visibility has gone down.
Yeah. But
it doesn't make any sense.
But I think there's also another part, which is that's why
visibility is a relative aspect.
Yeah.
If I say it goes down, somebody has to say that it's gone up for me.
No.
How can everybody say that visibility has gone down?
Because I honestly think, and perhaps this should be off the record, but like marketers are saying that this is why we are driving our costs up because of, and I suspect there is that
again the same
again
the same thing. So why Google should show an advertisement for your brand when the person wants to know just the definition? Why?
Right.
And how does it help Google anyways?
Right.
Let's suppose Google switches off, right? Earlier, in fact, when there was no AI overview, likely a sponsored ad would come.
Yeah, like the first 4 hours sponsored, and then you have the
organic. But that was not the intent of the person who was searching.
Right.
The intent of the person was to look for damn definition.
So that's just the evolution of search advertising in itself. Yeah.
Google is saying, sorry, but I'm serving my customers very well.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
He wants to find the information. I give him the information. He goes away.
Yeah.
So why you are worried?
Yeah. Yeah. No. So that's why there was this huge headline. I don't know if you like from last week that Google fell below 90% for the first time. I'm like in India it's still 97.9.
Okay, that's a different aspect. Yeah. I mean the you move from 95% to 90%. I don't know what do I
Yeah.
say to that.
Yeah, I know.
But then, how many people have become digital savvy from 2020 to 2024?
Yeah.
What is the digital penetration of India now?
No, I mean, India and Google is still 97 points.
No, digital penetrations of Indians.
I believe
From 2020 to 2024.
I believe this is the figure I was told. In 2025, 250 million more Indians will come online for the first time.
So what these more Indians will do?
They'll go to Google because that's the
and whose customer base is increasing as far as advertising is concerned?
right.
Is Google paying for those 250 billions to come on internet? No, they're not.
No.
So
they're just facilitating their.
So more customers are coming on my shop,
right,
to purchase and find more information,
right,
out of thin air.
Mm-hmm.
So
why not?
Yeah. So how I am not able to comprehend the complaints of the brands regarding the visibility as well as on growing charges as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so one final thing. I mean, if I was a startup, or if you had to advise a startup on a particular product, like how do you go about it? Because I know you spend a lot of time with startups. Like you sort of instruct them, how to sort of go about their business and so on and so forth. So if you could sort of just encapsulate that, like, what is important for a brand to market itself?
Well, definitely branding. No doubt around that. That's always the number one thing, right? Look at Shark Tanks. They are, if there is a, there is an element of branding which doesn't look good, they don't fail to talk it out loud that the logo doesn't look or the name doesn't look good.
Oh, you're talking about the visual aspect.
Yeah, very much. So, he might have the founder might have created a great product, but they never miss out on the branding comment and criticism, which clearly tells that why it is incredibly important that a startup focuses on the branding and good visual messaging. And I'm not talking about logo. This does not mean that branding doesn't mean logo. Branding means that
the message.
What's your aspirations? Who is your target audience?
Right.
Whom you're looking to serve. If you're looking to serve everyone, then you're not serving anyone, right? So some people think that, okay, I purchased the product and I built this product. Now everybody would like to have it. No, that's not the case for DigitUp as well, right? So our target audience is enterprise level clients and on maybe one level below that, right? And as well as startups who have become sufficiently mature to take our services, right? So what I call as a middle and the top of the pyramid, and that's where we are. So you have to have a very clear target. You have to build your services according to that. You have to do your branding according to that. And there is a very recently clothing brand, I think, called Nothing, if I'm not wrong.
The phone brand. Correct.
It's a phone brand.
Yeah.
Or there was, or maybe I'm talking about who built a T-shirt for Gen Zs. Okay. Very cool, apparels for.
I'm an elderly millennial.
Yeah. So they build a brand targeting at Gen Zs with cool T-shirts, cool taglines, and so on.
Right.
And then the Gen Zs are flocking onto the brand.
Right.
Yeah. If you ask them, are you facing trouble with digital marketing? Are you facing trouble with the AI overview and visibility of the ads? I'm sure they are not going to complain around it. They are going strength by strength and improving on their organic growth, and no doubt. And a lot of people who startups, if you categorize startups, which categories they come at. I mean, if I say that most of the startups are coming into making rocket engines, that's not the case.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody would laugh at me.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is most of the startups they come into like apparels.
Oh, FMCG or
FMCG.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then as the difficulty and the technology requirement increases, the number of startup decreases.
Right.
So
you'll have 2 rocket brands, but you'll have like 300 clothing brands.
Right.
Yeah.
So imagine with he came in, the brand came in such a crowded market and make a name for himself, but did a very good effort on branding, targeting, and messaging for the customer that they are building them for. Now they start to dilute themselves that okay, now we want to target the oldies as well, then it's not going to work. Yeah.
So you need that clarity.
You need clarity.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much, Amit. I'm now going to bother you after this interview, of course, as is my habit. But thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure you guys have learned so much about, especially the last question, like how to sell your brand, which is the entire point of the exercise.
Yeah. Just one thing, our tagline is power to evolve.
Yeah. So and DigitUp. You can also bother Amit. I won't be sharing his number, but All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.